The gorilla versus 100 men debate is maybe one of the most pathetic things in recent history. I think our world is full of pseudo-intellectuals, and this is just a great showcase of that. Um, even even like assuming that the gorilla is going to be as ferocious as possible, and that the men are going to be as cowardly as possible, it is 400 pounds of animal with the gorilla versus average 20,000 pounds of animal with the men. This is just like a much worse, much more idiotic version of the lion versus Pokemon thing. Which if you don't know is, would every single Pokemon, 1,000, I think 26 Pokemon, beat 1 billion lions? Now, this is better than it's more of a fight than, it's more of a fight than the 100 men versus one gorilla, because the gorilla would get fucked. I think that there are some men that could probably have a 40% winning odds against a gorilla. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? 100 men can't beat a gorilla. It's a psyop. It's a utter psyop. I meant to be bombing to the left and right today because I wanted to tunnel to the ice biome. So I've just been on autopilot this whole time, and I also forgot to start the timer again. So I think I've been yapping for like a minute, maybe a minute and a half. So I'll just put it on for 8 minutes and a half. But no, the Pokemon versus a billion lion things is kind of equally ridiculous, cause so every single Pokemon has like a paragraph in something called the Pokedex, which is like just like a it's like a dictionary for each Pokemon. It's like a thesaurus for each Pokemon. So it's a little like flavor text blurb whenever you catch a Pokemon or you get a Pokemon saying like what it does. And some of the Pokedex entries are really ridiculous. And they talk about like, oh, this Pokemon can make black holes. This Pokemon is hotter than the surface of the sun. This Pokemon can rewind time. But, in the actual game, it's all just numbers. It's a game of numbers. But that's the battle system, right? So there is like a mathematical battle system to Pokemon. And the thing about the mathematical battle system inside of Pokemon is that they can't beat 1 billion of anything. Much less 1 million of anything. Because they can only perform their moves a certain amount of times before they run out of something called Pokepower. Also known as PP, which is very silly. Before they start doing, like, damage to themselves. They start taking recoil damage. So, the lions just have to show up, and the Pokemon die. They don't even have to attack. We don't have to give them any stats. We don't have to give them any sort of mathematical, calculations. Because, I like to keep it scientific. I don't like to use, theater of the mind. Because if it's theater of the mind, then, anything can happen. I think a lot of people will picture like a epic anime battle where, the Pokemon pull up on the lions and they're just flying above and just taking them out. Like an epic war in their head, but, that's not real life. That's imagination. And, if you want to be a child living in your childlike fantasy, that's fine. But if we actually want to get to the bottom of this, then, we can, because there is a battle system that is like at the center of the series. Now there is a few things that the Pokemon could do to win, but it would involve bending the rules to a point of absolute discomfort. So there is something called held items in the Pokemon series. So there are some Pokemon that could theoretically get an infinite amount of Pokepower via held items, which is, if you want to add held items, then why not give the lions held items as well? It just becomes unfair at the point where you get held items involved. There's also some people who argue that spread moves in Pokemon, which are moves that hit multiple Pokemon, on the field can hit 1 billion lions in one instance, which is ridiculous because the canonical max for these spread moves are, I think, 5 or 6 Pokemon. So you have to make a huge leap in logic to infer that it would hit 1 billion Pokemon, or 1 billion lions, because it hits 6 Pokemon, or 5 or 6 Pokemon. So, you know, it's just, I don't know, you get to a point where you know you're right because the opposition is just being completely nonsensical in their argument. But yeah, lions win. But you know, at least it's like semi-interesting, right? Like you could do the numbers, you could do the math to entertain it because it's kind of worth figuring out because it's like, okay, Pokemon are quite powerful, and lions are also powerful, but in a different way because they're quite ordinary. They don't have any magical abilities. They just have the physical strength. So it's at least sort of interesting. But the gorilla thing is pathetic. I think that there are a good amount of men that are kind of close to the stats of an adult gorilla. Like, I think people think gorilla, they think like King Kong. Gorillas are like 5 or less feet tall, and I mean they're big, they're bulky. I mean they're monstrous. I wouldn't think that like a group of 5 men could consistently take down a gorilla. But like they would have a chance, is what I'm saying. So 100 men, it's just like I think people are much less smart than they think they are. I think that people have an idea of like their brain power, which is just inaccurate because this wouldn't have caught on. There wouldn't be people defending this or arguing for the gorilla. And honestly, like I don't think it would have even gone viral if there wasn't any substance to the argument or sides to the argument. Like people wouldn't make memes. Like it's just like it's maybe like the dumbest trend. It's literally, I think it is a psyop. I think it is genuinely a psyop. So yeah, that's my peace of mind. I think I've always been a fan of the more abstract fight questions where it involves like the user instead of like random group of 100 men, or 1 billion lions, some large figure. I like when it involves like the person, the individual, because you get to know them a little bit in the process. So I like the ones that are like, would you rather fight like 100? Like, would you rather fight 100 like duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck? Right. Also, yeah. Here's another thing. For you. I got into an argument. Maybe not a full month ago. Or no, it was about a month ago. That a human couldn't beat a honey badger, which is like unfathomably ridiculous because they're like a 20-pound animal, right? I think if you could pick it up and swing it around and throw it, you could kill it. Like easy. Like if you pick it up and you swing it and you bump its head against like trees, it's gonna die. Like the centrifugal force, gravity pulling it outward while you spin it around like in a cartwheel motion, like it's not gonna be able to curl up and maul your hand if you're spinning fast enough. And you could throw it and you could bonk it against the floor and you could hit its head against the trees. And people would say, oh, but its skin is so loose. Farmers can't even take it out with like a gunshot. Number one, I'm pretty sure they fucking can. I don't think that any animal is like completely bulletproof. Much less any animal that is literally that small, like the weight of a bowling ball. Furthermore, farmers aren't trying to fucking fight honey badgers. I'm trying to fight the honey badger. I'm trying to kill the honey badger. So, yeah, that's ridiculous to me. I think that people underestimate humans a lot. Humans are big animals, and we're long, and we can pick stuff up, and we can throw shit. And you know, we got good teeth. Our teeth are very good for crunching, and we got good hitting hands. And I got 3 seconds left.